Hi guys, Dr. Wendy Dearborne here from the Laws of Attraction in Action. And of course, some of you know me from Food Beyond Its Nutrition. Well, I had posted a meme, let me just post up yesterday, and this was on my page, my Facebook page, and in one of the groups that I belong to. And the meme simply said this: the laws of attraction don't work in isolation. They work with you, they work with your imagination, words, thoughts, visions, desires, and your beliefs. Well, Steva, a friend and a colleague of mine, literally asked me, she literally said, please speak about negative thoughts, how it's not about pushing them away, but accepting them, but not living from them. And, Steva, that is an brilliant, as we say where I'm from, that's actually a brilliant question. Let's see where I'm going to start. Okay. As I said in the synopsis, that negativity is the other side of the coin for positivity. You can't have one without the other. What you do have is the ability to make a choice as to how you're going to deal with negativity. So, okay, I'm going to start here. Negative emotions, actually all emotions, but negative emotions boil down to doing one thing. And that one thing is letting you know whether you like the situation or you don't. It lets you know whether you have a problem with this situation and or you don't. Sometimes, based on how you emote, the emotions that it brings up for you, if you're able to discern, you'll be able to discern what those emotions are and what they're telling you. But that's something in regard to negativity that's really important. Excuse me, I take that back. If you're able to discern, you'll be able to discern why you're feeling the way that you are. Irrespective of that, negativity will literally tell you something about you and something that you're going to need to do. Now, I jotted down a few notes here. So it's really important that with any negative situation, no matter what it is, guys, no matter what it is, whatever negative situation that you are going through, that you have experienced, that you are experiencing, it's really important to honor yourself and give yourself permission to experience what you're experiencing. Far too often, especially in the spiritual realm or the metaphysical realm or whatever term you want to coin this as, but particularly when you are on that evolutionary pathway, you're told, no, you can't be negative. You're told, no, you need to put the negativity aside. No, you need to let the negativity go. You need not to respond to negativity. Well, I'm here to tell you that's kind of BS. Because once again, negativity has a specific role in your life. We experience negativity to give us information about, and that's real-time information about how we're feeling. It can also give us real-time information about how we're feeling about crap that's happened, like 20, 30 years ago. Things that we have done what we've been told to do and pushed it aside. And as a result, and this is really true, as a result, we've made choices based on pushing this negativity aside. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't push negativity aside. You really do not push it aside. What you need to do is step into it. Step into it. Feel it with every ounce of your being. And I'd written a blog piece on this actually, but feel it with every ounce of your being. And I literally mean that. Feel it with every ounce of your being. Be passionate about what you're feeling. Be passionate about what you're feeling. If you're angry, be angry. Be very, very angry. Yeah. If you're feeling bitchy, if you're feeling Machiavellian, if you're feeling vindictive, if you're feeling manipulative, feel every emotion, every ounce of it. The caveat here that I would say is don't live there. And what I mean by this is what I do personally is I give myself 3 days. I always start out with 3 days. I give myself 3 days to be rip roaring mad. I give myself 3 days to have an adult tantrum. I give myself 3 days, okay? 3 days to have, if I'm going to have it, a knockdown drag out. And believe me, I can't go there, right? I give myself permission to have all these things, to be resentful, to cry, to be hurt, to withdraw, to be snappish, and everything that we do when we come up against a negative situation, including not saying anything at all, including swallowing it, including being quiet, including making out that it's okay or nothing's happened. I'm suggesting that you give yourself 3 days. And if you find, or as the saying goes, if the litmus test is still showing that you are as salty, you are as incendiary, when you think about it, if it's making your blood boil still, you're still in the throes of stepping into it. Again, the caveat is you need to literally, and I do say you need to literally give yourself a time frame where you can look at this and see if you're still as annoyed, see if you're still as hurt, you're still as angry. See if this situation that is creating negativity in your life is still as, I'm going to use the word vibrant, still as live. And what you do once you've come to that decision that it's not, and let me just say this, right? What will happen when you're not as salty about it, or you're not as annoyed about it, you're not as hurt, you're not crying anymore? What we tend to do is then start talking ourselves into feeling this way, because you need to hold on to it. It rolls into your victimology, and you need to hold on to it. And that's what we do. We hold on to negativity because it becomes a part of our story. It becomes our narrative. And if we don't have a narrative, who the hell are we? Okay. So as I said, the caveat is you give yourself three days. I start out with 3. And if I'm still rip-roaring mad, I add another 3 or another 4. And I'm okay with giving myself permission to feel this, because my emotions, as we emote, it's telling me something. But you see, right now, because I'm pissed off and everything's cloudy, I don't have the bandwidth to find out what this thing is showing me. I don't have the bandwidth. And so there are times where there are situations that have taken me several months. There are several situations that have seriously taken me several years. And guys, I say this, and I say this in full, true disclosure. I'm a meditator. I do affirmations, I do gratitude work, the whole 9 yards, right? I do this. But there are some situations that have hit me to my core, and it's taken me a while to get over it. And when I say get over it, okay, let me elaborate. When I say get over it, it's taken me a while to use it and to use it for my benefit. Now, for those who follow me, I'm sure you've heard me say, what's the point of me drinking poison and expecting you to die? I mean, that's ridiculous, totally ridiculous. And so when I use the term get over it, what I really should be saying is I am now going to use it to establish what I want. I'm now going to use this situation to figure out the way in which I want to go forward. I'm now going to stand on this situation instead of this situation standing on and burying me. That's what I'm going to do. Now, some of the acceptance, but not living in the negativity, literally has to come from self-talk. Because once again, it's very, very easy for us to live in our victimology. It's easy to be a victim, or at least we think so, but we don't realize the knock-on effect that it has on our lives. So give yourself permission, literally give yourself permission to be rip-roaring mad. Have a full-blown adult or child tantrum. If it's a knockdown, drag out, hey, bring it on. Even if it's a knockdown, drag out with yourself, bring it on. Be mad. Be Machiavellian mad. Be manipulative. Be vindictive. Be everything that this negativity is bringing up for you. Self-talk is, okay, I'm going to be like this for 3 days. I'm going to be like this for an additional 4. This still isn't working. I'm going to be like this for an additional 7 days. Okay, now we've got 14 days. How are you feeling? Tap into self. How are you feeling? Well, I still feel really, really, really mad about this. I don't have to stretch and start thinking of other things to fuel this anger that I have. Okay, give yourself another 7 days. 21 days. How are you feeling? Give yourself another 7. Here you go. You got a month. How are you feeling? And once, as I said before, you get to the point where, and you'll know because you feel it, where you're not as mad, then the journey begins. Then the journey begins. And I'm looking here at a blog that I had written pertaining to this, actually. The first part of the journey is in realizing that you are, and you truly do want to move on, right? Even if there's feelings there, but they're not as incendiary. It's not something that's gonna send you out into orbit. Everything that has happened in your life has happened as a result of a cause. You have cause and you have effect. And this is said without judgment. It's not casting aspersions or blame. Who has time for that shit? It's none of that. The fact remains that for every effect that you are experiencing, positive or otherwise, there has been a cause. And that cause has been something you have done, whether inadvertently or something that you haven't done, something that you have done purposefully and or not. It doesn't matter. You have done something. So the first thing in this process of actually not living from your negativity is really taking ownership of your life. Ownership, accountability, and responsibility. Now, for those of you who are familiar with my work, you know that one of the lowest rated shows, as in, you look at how many people have looked at a show, and that's from start to finish. And I say a show because I have a podcast. I've been podcasting since, I don't know, 2008. And that was one of my all-time lows. Ownership, responsibility, and accountability. And people are just not interested in being told, you need to own your life. But I'm here to tell you, it's about you taking ownership of your life. And from personal experience, there is so much freedom in owning your life. I mean, this is the kind of thing I wish I knew in my teens. Freedom. I take ownership for where I am, and I take ownership for the fact that I have made choices that have brought me there. It doesn't condone what has happened to me, and that's so important. I remember I used to take so much flack. People would be writing me these little nasty emails and comments because you're like, oh, it's my fault. XYZ happened to me. No, we're not playing the get blame game. What it is that you happen to be there, and that puts you in the crosshairs. Own it. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Should what have happened happen to you? No, but it did. And so what do you want to do? Do you want to hold on to the fact that it shouldn't have happened? Look, guys, I'm going to back this up, right? I'm going to back this up. Many years ago, we've been here, nearly 30 odd years or what have you. So I want to say maybe about 29 years ago, my parents were visiting. And I remember I was in the kitchen, I was downstairs in the kitchen, and I was on I call it a twitch and switch fest. I was on a bitch fest, right? I was moaning and groaning and complaining, and in dramatic, I mean, it was biblical, epic proportions, as I'm apt to do, right? And my mum was there, and it had nothing to do with my mum, by the way. She just happened to be the unlucky person who got stuck in the kitchen with me, and she listened. And I was going on and on and on and on and this and blah, 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 blah. And I mean, I was really going on and on and on. And then at some point in my monologue, I took a much needed breath, and faster than lightning, as I put in my blog here, my mummy dearest, in her mummy dearest tone of voice, which as an adult of a woman of 64 still has the ability to, one, shut me up, stop me in my tracks, and have me have that deer in the headlight look, right? And so my mum actually, she called me by my full name, and I was like, oh crap, okay, all right. And so now she had my attention, and all I still wanted to do, I just wanted to vent and but she had my attention. And my mother, being my mum, simply said to me really quietly, and as I put in the blog, very unemotionally, she said to me, Wendy, actually, she said, Wendy, she's Jamaican, Wendy, can you change any of this? Whatever, all the stuff I was moaning about. Can you change anything that has happened? Can you change anything that has already taken place? And like a balloon, I was unexpectedly deflated. Who knew mum was going to say that? And so to mum, I said, truthfully, I said, no, mum, I can't change anything that's taken place. And, my mum looked at me. My mum looked at me for a hot second, and her look was so intense. I'll never forget this. We were in the breakfast nook downstairs, and she said to me, then don't waste your time on it. She said, spend your time with it, but don't waste your time on it. Use your time to use your time to create for you what it is that you want. Use it for the betterment of self, and then let the rest go. And she said to me, you understand what I said? Is what she said. So she said to me, do you understand me? And in that moment, I had this harsh reality in regard to negativity and negative situations in my life, that I do have control over them. I do have control over them. I had an aha moment. I literally had an aha moment. And moving forward, I have used that aha moment along with some serious meditation and help from my higher self to create a program that works for me. And evidently, for the people that I've actually shared this with already, it kind of works for them. You get it, you tweak it, you make it your own. But moving forward from then, I realized that I can't change anything that's gone. The only thing that I can do is influence my future. And I can only influence my future if I'm in the now, the present. So it's really funny. I spoke about in regard to negativity, letting things go, living with it, or living with it, but not living from it. For me, is tantamount to letting it go. It no longer has control over me. I have control over the negative, excuse me, the negativity or the negative situations in my life. And really and truly, for me, that was really easy. That bit was easy. And it came to me very intrinsically to be able to let things go. However, what was difficult for me to let go, and I really mean difficult for me to let go, was my victimology. As I said a little while ago, who am I if I don't have my story? Who am I if I don't have this narrative? Who and what am I? The thing is, our stories, our life stories are painful. No matter how painful, no matter how hurtful, no matter how negative or uncomfortable, how Machiavellian, how it just shouldn't have happened, how wrong. No matter what, our stories create a bizarre sort of safe place. It's safe. Right, wrong, or indifferent, it's safe. Right, wrong, or indifferent, this is what we know about ourselves. And this is what makes it safe, because this is what we know. You see, we don't know the future. And as a result of that, that can be unsafe. And we use past experiences to determine that. We use negative experiences to actually determine whether moving forward is safe and or not for us. So I had to stop being a victim of my self-made victimology. I had to stop that because I wanted to experience something different in my life. And as I put in my blog here, there's no judgment here. This isn't about being right, wrong. It isn't about none of that. It's not about casting aspersions or blame. It simply means that I had done something. I had done something, whether knowingly or unknowingly, willingly or unwillingly, whatever phrase, but I had done something. And as a result of the cause, something that I had done, a choice, I was experiencing this effect. So as I started to say a little while ago, with the aid of meditation, visualization, moving from the end, visualization, I began the process of using my metaphysical tools and principles, known to me as God's laws, spiritual laws, natural laws, whatever term you want to use. I use these laws to assist me in letting go of my victimology. And I'm coming back round to this now. The first thing I had to do was learn that I had to take ownership. I had to be accountable and I had to be responsible for my choices. Bottom line, ownership, accountability, and responsibility for my choices, cause and effect, action and reaction. Um, and that's important. And that can be difficult. But the biggest thing is it starts out by saying, okay, what was my part? What was my part in this negative situation? The fact that I was there, start from there. What was my part in this? What did I do? And once again, just for clarity, you cannot control how you feel. Now you can influence it. But when you emote, when you bring emotions up, you can't ignore or pretend you're not feeling them. You can't lock down that visceral reaction. You can't lock it down. You can't put it in a box. You can't pretend it didn't happen. And to be honest with you, that's impossible. You can't do that. It's absolutely impossible. And to try to do that creates another bottomless abyss that none of us want to be in. So, what do? Look at negativity as an emotion. And when you look at emotions, at the end of the day, they are bringing to your attention a simple fact. Either you like this or you don't. And as I alluded to earlier, if you are in tune with yourself, sometimes you'll be able to discern why. But even if you can't come to a why, what you do know is that you don't like this. This doesn't work for me. The next thing in regard to accepting negativity and living and not living from a negative situation is truly to forgive yourself. And I am huge about self-forgiveness. I am huge about self-forgiveness. And again, this was all revealed to me from my higher self through meditation and work like that, intuitive insights, work like that. So again, the second thing is forgiveness. Forgive yourself. And literally, it's about forgiving you. Say the words, speak to self, and tell self, you forgive you. You forgive you for all the things that you have done, on things that you haven't done, whatever. Forgive you, because once you have forgiven self and backed it up and told self that you love self, within that forgiveness, you're going to find that a lot of stuff that you've held on to, you're going to be able to let go. Freedom. Freedom. Ownership, accountability, responsibility, and forgiveness. Freedom. I can't even begin to tell you that literally when I started the process of forgiveness, when I started the process of ownership, responsibility, and accountability, when I say literally, and I know it had to be coming from my heart chakra, literally, I felt like a weight had been taken off of my back. So forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. It's really important. Now, once you have forgiven yourself, you can then begin the process of forgiving other people. You see, you cannot forgive anybody if you don't know what forgiveness of self feels like when you forgiveness of self feels like when forgiven by self. And once you've forgiven yourself, then you are free to forgive everybody who has shown up in your life that you feel has contributed something negative to it. I'll phrase it that way. You can forgive them and let them go. You can forgive them and let them go. And just for the record, there is no I'll forgive, but I won't forget. That's just a whole nother set of stuff that adds to the cachet of what's going on in your life. And so when you're able to forgive at that level, where you can forgive and let go, and I really mean forgive and let go, it's a powerful thing, guys, right? What happens is the only entanglement that is left is that you thrive and that they thrive and that everybody thrives. You see, if you do the I'll forgive but won't forget, there's an entanglement. And the irony is, by saying that, it draws this energy back into you. Will you forget? Chances are no. But that's not where you are focusing your attention. Your intention is on living from a space, irrespective of what's gone on, living from a space that's harmonious to you. The next thing is giving thanks. That's right. You give thanks for the negativity in your life. You give thanks for the outpouring, the emotional outpouring that is done. And you give thanks and recognize, guys, that you're giving thanks, that it's not so much as what you felt has been done to you. You give thanks, and this is where self-talk comes in. You flip the script on it. You give thanks on what the situation, the negative situation has done for you, right? So understand the nuance between 2 and 4, and it's huge. It's huge. When you're thinking about things that have been done to you versus things that have been done for you, the whole energy changes. So with self-talk, okay, this situation, what has it done for me? You already know what it's done to you, because you've been pissed off, you've been angry, you've been this, blood pressure up, can't sleep, don't want to look at this person, don't want to talk to that person, rolling your eyes, the whole nine. You know what it's done to you. Now, what you need to know is, what is it doing for you? And you get to ask that. And with gratitude, you can actually find that. When you use gratitude to its fullest power, you can feel yourself knowing and growing and evolving into another or a higher version of yourself. Gratitude, as I have here in my blog, because I'm taking some of this from my blog, gratitude is the universal solvent of the world. And it really is. It's like water. It's much like the universal solvent of the world. It's like water. And when used authentically and correctly and powerfully, it can neutralize and harmonize most situations within you so that you can put that energy outwards. So this was my first process, right? This was my first process of not pushing negativity away, but learning to accept it. And for me, to let it go. I accept it. It's over there. It has no bearing on my life anymore. It doesn't control me anymore. It doesn't control me. And this is what I did. Mhm. Um, Once again, uh, I had done this through meditation, working with the higher self, and this was over a period of time. The thing that happened was there'd be these little unexpected explosions or relapses. And I know you know the kind that I mean, you know, mm, it's beyond the things that say things that make you say, it's not even that. It's like, wait, what? What? I thought I was done with this. I thought that this portion of my life was dead, gone, and buried. Where did all this come from? And not only that, there's this, and now all this other historical stuff that's going with it. Where did this come from? What is this? During my process, I realized that I had created a space. I'd created a space. And I mean literally a space with the forgiveness, with the gratitude, with taking ownership, responsibility, and accountability for my life. I was creating, actually, I invoked the universal law of space. Didn't even realize I was doing that. And Aristotle said, nature abhors a vacuum. And one of the things that makes me laugh is that physicists, there's this hot debate where physicists, with the intention of debunking that truth, are working rapidly and debating rapidly on how best to debunk a universal truth that is immutable. You can't change that. I know, and you know, and many other people who are listening to this know that energy moves into form and out of form, and it needs a space for that to be accomplished. It needs a space, it needs a void, it needs a vacuum. Permanent change cannot take place without you first creating a space for it to come into. And it goes the universal the universal law of space. Now, with the universal law of space, or any space that two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time. So if you want change, there are things that you're going to need to do. And what I was doing was I was creating space, but I didn't fill it. And so, all those little explosions that sometimes turned into landmines, and some into catastrophic, volcano eruptions, all of those came back because there was a space and it reclaimed its space. So hopefully I'm making sense with this. The universe, when we do things, when you do any of your metaphysical things, whether you're doing readings, and that's whether it's from an oracle standpoint, or if you are doing a medium, if you're a medium, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Anything that you're doing that's going to elicit change in your life or somebody else's life literally means that a space has been created so it can come in. But if you don't put anything in, that which you're trying to get rid of is going to fall back in, and then it becomes more tenacious. It's like any living thing. This is energy. And so it's like any little thing, it becomes more tenacious. It doesn't want to give up the spot that you so happily have created that space for. It doesn't want to give up that spot. And so in this process, I learned that that living from, and I'm also calling that accepting, and I'm also calling this letting go of people, places, and things to change my victimology, to change, how to change how negativity, I allow negativity to impact my life. It wasn't only about taking ownership, accountability, and responsibility. It just isn't about forgiveness and gratitude. Ironically, it wasn't even or isn't even about the cause or the choices that I made and the effects that I had from this. It wasn't about the meditation, the affirmation, doing the spiritual work, the visualization from the end. All of that stuff was brilliant. Excuse me. All of that stuff was brilliant. And it came into form as creating space. It was pushing all the negativity out. It was pushing all that out. And nothing came back in. And I mean, absolutely nothing came back in. And so therefore, I started experiencing and living from the same negative space that I was before. And now added to that was the additional of, I don't understand what's going on. WIH, what is happening? I didn't understand. I didn't understand. It's like losing weight. You do all this job, you lose weight, and next thing you know, for all your troubles, you've gained the weight back plus 20. Or you're always trying to do XYZ, and for your troubles, not only does XYZ happen to you, but now it started from A, B, C, and D again. Okay. So I realized that had to change. I realized that I had to fill that space. And so for you, Steva, I know you know this. Baby girl, I know you know this. I came full circle. I had to return to the golden question and the most powerful intrinsic question that I can ask myself. What am I wanting in my life in this moment regarding this negative situation? What am I wanting just for me? Not what society dictates, or like your mom or your dad or your sisters, your cousins, your BFFs, the people you read, your gurus, your mentors. None of that. What do you want for you in this moment regarding this negativity? Yeah. Do you need more time to sit within it? And when I say within it, I mean you need to step into this negativity. You don't need to be watching, from the outside. You're not going to really get a good pulse beat on what's going on. You need to be the pulse beat of it so that you can know what it is that you are wanting. And when you get to the point where you're like, well, I don't want this anymore. Well, guys, for those who know me, you know where I'm going with this. You know where I'm going with this. I need a moving visualization. You need to paint me a picture, a moving visualization. You need to know what you want. I don't want this. Okay, you don't know, you don't know how to expand on this? Then tell me what it feels like not to want this. Tell me what it looks like for you not to want this. Tell me what it smells like, what it sounds like, what it tastes like. Tell me what your intuition is telling you. Paint me a picture of just that. And then when you paint the picture of that, you're going to need to tell me what that looks like. What does it feel like to stand in your gratitude? Not just, see yourself being gracious and, as this is my gratitude journal, daily journal, not all of that. What does it feel like to step into and be gratitude? You see, that's the work that really needs to be done. That's the work that really needs to be done so that you can have negativity around you. Negativity in its own way is a positive thing, because once again, it really does show you what you don't want. It shows you facets of self also that you may want to change. And not you may want to change because that's the correct thing to do. But you are showing you are talking to you as you emote, as your emotions come up, and they're visceral. You can't control your emotions, so don't try. What you can do is learn from them, and they tell you things about you. Take ownership of them. Take responsibility for them. Be accountable to them. Recognize that your life is happening for you. It's not happening to you. It never has. We've been taught some real jacked up stuff. But you know what you want. You know what you really want. Go for it. Paint yourself that picture. Ask yourself that intrinsic question. What are you wanting for you in this moment, in this now? Just you, nobody else, just you. And when you can answer that, paint yourself that picture. And in order to paint that picture and get a living, moving, breathing, moving visualization, you need to know what it smells like. You need to know what it tastes like. You need to know what it sounds like, what it looks like, what it feels like. You need to know what your intuition is saying to you. When I say, you say you want a house, people say, oh yeah, visualize the house. I'm telling you, touch the wall. Is the wall warm? Is that wall facing the sun? Does it face the east in the morning? Does it set in the west at night? Is the wall warm? Is it textured? The paint, what color is the paint? Is it blue? Can you feel the coolness from the blue? Can you feel the neutrality of the green? What is it? Go there, go inside the house. But put your head on the window pane. Is it cool? Or if you're in Las Vegas, roundabouts now, it's summer, the windows aren't cool. It's hot. What are you feeling? What are you feeling? Paint yourself that picture. I'm here to tell you that it's changing. Your victimology is changing. Negativity is changing what you want to experience so you can be free, and not only free, but to be happy and thrive in your life. Is it easy? In full disclosure, I'm going to say this to you guys. It depends on the situation and how freaking ticked off I am. Yeah. It really depends on who, what, where, when, and why. But in full disclosure to you, I give myself permission to stand inside my hurricane, my tidal wave, my tsunami, my typhoon. I give myself permission to go there. I feel it with every ounce of my being. And I allow myself that because it's my divine right. They're my emotions. I don't squash them. What I do is, the other thing that I do, when I know I'm going to go there, so the people around me, my husband, some of my family members, blah blah blah, I'll say to them, I'm out the loop. It, even my husband, we live together, blah blah blah. I'm out the loop. I'm ticked, and I need to work on it. And so, with that, we have come to the understanding that means, dude, you need to back off. Don't come at me with anything because I'm looking for a head to rip off, and it's not mine. And yours will be the closest thing. So everybody knows who needs to know that now is not the time. That being said, I do put a limit on it. Some things have taken infinitely longer, as I said in full disclosure. I've had my full blown adult tantrums, and for all of those who know me, I'm not beyond the knockdown drag out. I can go there. I can go there, right? Once again, all that emotional outpouring is telling me something that I already know. And all your emotional outpourings towards negativity, the negativity in your life, is telling you something that you already know. Which is why once things settle down, you can literally say, something, I knew that was going to happen. I don't even know why I got so mad about it, because I knew it was going to happen. And you did know. That's the thing. But because you did know, and you've known this, and this has happened to you over and over again, yeah, you're going to get pissed. Because there's a side of you that is always trying to get your attention. You see, guys, and I'm going to wrap it up now. You are your biggest fan. You are your biggest cheerleader. You are always rooting for you. But we all do some really, really crazy stuff. And so you is always trying to get your attention, whether with negativity or positivity. Whatever's going on for you, negative wise, it's telling you something that is happening or has happened to you that you don't like. And self is telling self that we need to do something different. It's all about your growth and your evolvement here. And it's all about you. Your life's about you and the choices that you make. So I'm hoping that this has been helpful to you in some shape and or form. I'm just going to run it down again. You need to give yourself a moment, however long you need. And again, some things take longer than others. Then you need to take ownership, responsibility, and accountability for your role in whatever has gone on. Own it. It belongs to you. You're the one who's pissed off. It belongs to you. Then you need to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for being a willing participant in this, an unwilling participant, consciously, unconsciously, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. Forgive yourself first. Know what that feels like. Forgive yourself, then tell yourself in that space, once you've created that forgiveness, in that space, you tell yourself that you love yourself and mean it. And then you are free to forgive all other people. And it's not, again, the forgive and forget, forgive and I won't forget. That creates an entanglement, a negative entanglement. The only entanglement you want is so that you thrive and they thrive, and you're free, happy and free. And then gratitude. You step into the gratitude. You don't just give it lip service. You become the gratitude. Be the gratitude. Be thankful. Be grateful that you now have this information, that you are able to move on. You're able to live with what's gone on, and it won't bother you. And you can live from where you are in this moment. That's with forgiveness. That's with thankfulness. That's with ownership of your life. Yeah. And then when you create that space, put, this is something that I didn't actually say, put what you are wanting to experience in that space. Yeah. You put what you want to experience in that space. When you like, this doesn't bother me anymore. Put something in that space. What do you want to fill that space? Is it health? Is it wealth? Is it relationships? Is it more harmony? Is it more happiness? Put what you want in that space. And I didn't say that before. I hope this has been beneficial to you. I know I switched gears because I actually went to my blog, and I know I switched gears. But once again, I hope this has been beneficial to you. Um, Feel free to reach out to me if there is more clarity that you're looking for. Outside of that, I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for reaching out, and thank you for being a part of my reintegration into living my purpose. The last 6 years have been, whew, the last 6 years have been an interesting journey. It's definitely been a lot of growth. But outside of that, namaste. Yeah. And thank you. Love you guys.